Perhaps it was the middle of January in the present year that I first looked up and saw the mark on the wall. In order to fix a date, it is necessary to remember what one saw. So now that I think of the fire, the steady film of yellow light upon the pages of my book, the 3 chrysanthemums in the round glass bowl on the mantelpiece. Yes, it must have been the winter time and we had just finished our tea, for I remember that I was smoking a cigarette when I looked up and saw the mark on the wall for the first time. I looked up through the smoke of my cigarette, and my eye locked for a moment upon the burning coals, and that old fancy of the crimson flag flapping from the castle tower came into my mind, and I thought of the cavalcade of red knights riding up in the side of the black rock. Rather to my relief, the sight of the mark interrupted the fancy, for it is an old fancy, an automatic fancy made as a child perhaps. The mark was a small round mark, black upon the white wall, about 6 or 7 inches above the mantelpiece. How readily our thoughts swam upon a new object, lifting it a little way as ants carry a blade of straw, so feverishly, and then leave it. If that mark was made by a nail, it can have been for a picture, it must have been for a miniature, the miniature of a lady with white powder curls, powders, dusted cheeks and lips like red carnation. A fraud, of course, for the people who had this house before us would have chosen pictures in that way, an old picture for an old room. That is the sort of people they were, very interesting people, and I think of them so often in such weird places, because one will never see them again, never know what happened next. They wanted to leave this house because they wanted to change their style of furniture, so he said, and he was in process of saying that his optioned art would have ideas behind it when we were torn asunder. As one is torn from the old lady about to pour our tea and the young man about to hit the tennis ball in the back garden of the suburban villa as one rushes past in the train. Indeed, now that I have fixed my eyes upon it, I feel that I have grasped a plank in the sea. I feel a satisfying sense of reality which one once turned the 2 archbishops and the Lord High Chancellor to the shadows of shades. Here is something definite. Here is something definite, something real. Thus waking from a midnight dream of horror, one hastily turns on the light and lies quiescent, worshipping the chest of drawers, worshipping solidity, worshipping reality, worshipping the impersonal word which is a proof of some existence other than ours. That is what one wants to be sure of. Wood is a pleasant thing to think about it. It comes from a tree. The tree grows and we don't know how they grow. For years and years they grow, without paying any attention to us. In meadows, in forests, and by the side of rivers, all things one likes to think about. The cows switch their tails beneath them on hot afternoons. They paint rivers so green that when a moorhen dives one expects to see its feathers all green when it comes up again. I like to think of the tree itself. First, the close dry sensation of being wood, then the green of the stone, then the slow, vicious whistle of sun. I like to think of it. I like to think of it too, on winter's night, standing in the empty field, with all leaves close, nothing till exposed to the iron quality, a naked mastic in the earth that goes tempting tumbling at night. The song of birds will sound very loud and strange and dear, and how cool the feet of insects feel upon it. I should like to take each one separately, but something is getting in the way. Where was I? What has it now been read? A tree, a river, the door. We take his almanac, the feel of the house door. I can remember nothing. Everything moving, fountain, sleeping, vanishing. There is a vast uproar of matter. Someone is standing over me and saying, I'm going out to buy a newspaper. Yes? Then it's not I could buy a newspaper. Nothing ever happens. Just this wall, good dump this wall. All the same, I don't see why we should have a snail on our wall. Oh, the mark on the wall. It was a snail.